So, 3 days became 5 days. I know, life happened. So, as a result, we may have some casualties. So today, we're supposed to be repotting, alright? I already started beginning. Again, if you've been following thus far, we had to remove plants out of their potting soil because of a pesky house plant pest. We wanted to make sure that they were removed, all the adults, their nymphs, any eggs. So we removed them out for 3 consecutive days in the hopes of ridding them of this pesky houseplant pest, which we will identify. I know you guys are interested. So first let's begin with our container. As we spoke about the importance of a clean container, it's great to reuse. But let's make sure we rinse it down with some hot water, mild detergent will do. Again, we don't want any pesky houseplant pests brought home with us, okay? Or we don't want any other biological organism that might start to eat away at our plant. So let's clean it up. All right, once we've done that, we add some soil to our container. You want to make sure at the bottom we've got some soil there for the roots to at least provide some initial support as well as nutrients for them to spread out and thrive for our plant. So let's add some soil. Alright, when you're adding soil at the bottom, you don't really need to add that much, okay, for a container of this size. Just add a little at the bottom there, just for your plant to be able to, again, have some initial support and for the roots to get that the nutrients they need in order to begin to spread out and thrive. Alright, so we are going to work with some spider plants that I decided to propagate. Okay. Alright, so a cool thing about repotting, at this moment when you've gotten your plants out of the your potting soil, and you've got access to the roots themselves. Okay, this is an example of a plant that, as I said before, like the pothos, it's a plant that keeps on giving. Okay, so all that we simply do here at this stage is be very gentle and separating the roots. So now we have a whole another plant, or daughter plant. Okay. There's another. And again, being very gentle, we separate. And now we have 2 more plants. Okay. Now that we've got our plants separated, I like to, if possible, remove any dead leaves that I have access to. So on this particular spider plant, I've seen one here in particular. I'm going to just go ahead and remove it initially before planting. So here is the left remaining of our spider plant, and we are going to put it in. Now you're probably wondering, well, how deep should my plant sit in its container? Again, we just want to give the roots enough space so that they can spread out themselves. So it's okay if your plant is slightly submerged. Alright, so now once you've got your plant root in and you've got your plant sitting as it will be, then we'll add the top off so that it is nice and snug. So here I'm topping it off with some soil. Now once once we've topped it off with some soil, next thing we want to do is compact it so that when we're watering, okay, we don't have the plant floating back up to the top. So simply just press down gently with your fingers around the shaft of the plant, and voila, we've got another daughter spider plant that will thrive and one day become a mother plant herself. Okay. All right. So we'll set her aside. We've got a couple more to go. Literally, this is how nurseries are formed, okay? Through propagation and grafting methods. It's pretty spectacular. Gauge just how much soil you should initially put into your pot. Go ahead and take the plant and stick it in and see how high the plant sits. Every plant is particular when it comes to this. Alright. Some plants do not mind having soil closer to its stem, while others prefer not so much so. So we want our plant to sit about here in our pot. So we're definitely going to have to add some more initial soil. So let's set Justine aside and gather some more soil. Also, a good tip as you're adding soil, go ahead and run your hand through, breaking down any clumps. You want to make sure that the soil is evenly distributed. All right, great. Let's get our plant back again. Stick it on top there. Now that's a little bit. Yeah, that's more like it. So then once we've got the initial soil into place, we then add covering the root and providing the final support to our plant. So let's go ahead and do that. As you're adding soil, the top layer here, go ahead and gently, with your hand forming a slight fist, press the top layer of the soil down gently. Again, this is to ensure the plant has enough support and that when we water, the plant doesn't just float up to the top. Okay, we're going to need to add a little bit more soil. Alright, after you've done that, go ahead and add just a little top layer to provide that final support to your plant. And voila! We've got a planted Dracaena species. Okay. She looks a little miserable right now, but she will rise again. I'll set her to the side. After repotting your plants, go ahead and water them. Give them a good drench. To where, and you know, making sure that the water is flowing all the way through the roots. Okay, again, we want to make sure, how do we know that we've done a good job? Is if the water is percolating quite freely through the soil, all the way down into their saucer or water tray. All right, another great tip when it comes to repotting your plants, which I'll show you here with my Dracaena marginata. You want to go ahead and remove dead leaves along with that. Now that's just general maintenance. Okay, but we're going to go ahead and do that since they've gone through the gamut here. Oh, look at that. While soaking, we got some new growth. Isn't that cool? It's awesome. All right. So let's get her into a plant. Now, cool thing. Now let me show you a little trick that a lot of plant enthusiasts, will utilize in order to fill up their homes further with more plants. It's called propagation. Now here, if you look at the roots, we have really 3 stalks. Used to be 3, but one got severed, but it's now growing a new stalk. All right, we're gonna go ahead and make this into 2 trees. We're gonna very gently separate the root shaft here. Very gently. There we go. And voila, now we have 2 marginata trees. We're going to repeat the same process that we did with the initial Dracaena in planting this marginata, but I want to show you how we're going to clean up the plant here. Okay, we're just going to remove some of the dead leaf. Again, why do we want to do this? When we remove, just like hair, okay, how hair sheds, same with plant leaves. So by removing the dead leaves, we ensure that there's enough energy being directed to the areas of the plant where it needs to be, hence promoting more growth. So that's why we go ahead and do that. Okay. All right. That's good enough. The rest is just really damaged. She'll rise again. All right, so we provided some initial soil for our root base here. So if you can see that there. All right, we're gonna set our plant down. Make sure that there's enough space there between the rim of the pot and the base of our plant here. We're good. All right, now let's add the second layer of soil to cover the roots and the final support. All right, again, we make sure to press down with our semi-formed fist in order to make sure the soil is firmly down. Okay. Giving our plant support and ensuring that when we're watering, okay, our plant doesn't just float back up to the top. Alright, so now let's add our final layer once more again. Alright, there we have it. I know it looks a little initially miserable, but she will rise again. Just to give you an example, or just to show you here, you can see the level of soil that we've added. That was sufficient. There we are. Alright, that concludes our video for today. I hope you learned something about repotting your house plants with me today. Of course, if you learned something, do subscribe. Share this video with your family, friends, fellow plant enthusiasts, co-workers, cohorts. And until next time, this is Agnes Everyday, because every day you see, I'm Agnes.